Busan. The final day of BTS's concert in Busan left a deeply emotional impression on their fans, Army. Unlike the grand stages in various other parts of the world, the atmosphere in Busan felt far more personal for one of BTS's main vocalists, Jimin. In front of tens of thousands of spectators, Jimin broke down in tears as he reminisced about his career journey. From the moment the show began, the energy inside the stadium felt distinctly different than usual. The port city, which is Jimin's birthplace, welcomed the idol with extraordinary warmth, giving every song performed a deeper, double meaning. Jimin repeatedly looked toward the audience stands with teary eyes, as if absorbing every corner of his childhood memories that were now merging with his massive achievements. As the concert entered the talk session near the end of the event, the stadium suddenly became incredibly quiet and solemn. Jimin stood in the center of the massive stage, holding the microphone with a slightly trembling hand as he began to greet his hometown directly. The first words out of his mouth paused for a moment, as he appeared to hold back a surge of emotion that had been swelling in his chest since the start of the concert. For Jimin, Busan is not just a city on a map, but the place where all his childhood dreams were first woven in sheer simplicity. It was in this city that he grew up as an ordinary boy who loved dancing in the streets, before destiny eventually took him far away to Seoul to pursue uncertainty. Returning to this place as a global star loved by millions brought a colossal wave of nostalgia for him. Jimin's tears finally spilled down his cheeks as he began to share how much he missed the scent of Busan's air and his past memories. His soft voice sounded hoarse and broken, prompting tens of thousands of fans in the stadium to instantly cheer, offering endless moral support. That exact moment instantly transformed the grand stadium into an intimate space filled with profound emotion and sincere love. The other BTS members, realizing Jimin's vulnerability, immediately walked over to provide strength to their groupmate. RM and V were seen affectionately patting Jimin's shoulders, while Jungkook gave him a warm embrace from behind to comfort him. This unspoken support from the members demonstrated the powerful bond of brotherhood they have built over years of struggling together. Through his tears, Jimin expressed how he often felt afraid and doubtful about whether he had grown into someone his hometown could be proud of. He recalled the difficult times during his early training days, when he had to leave Busan all alone, carrying a large suitcase and faint hopes. All those memories of bloody struggles suddenly replayed in his head like an old movie. The fans packing the stadium could not contain their own tears seeing their idol weep so vulnerably on stage. Mass sobbing could be heard amidst the loud chants of Park Jimin echoing through every corner of the stadium that night. The sea of purple army bomb lights blinked softly, as if wrapping Jimin in an invisible, collective embrace. Jimin then expressed his boundless gratitude to his parents, who were present in the audience that night. He mentioned that being in Busan and singing directly in front of the people who shaped his identity was the greatest honor of his life. For Jimin, this concert was no longer just a matter of work or entertainment, but a highly sacred homecoming ritual. Every word spoken by Jimin that night felt incredibly honest and devoid of pretense, breaking down the barrier between a megastar and his fans. He stripped away the mask of popularity and stood there as the complete Park Jimin, a boy from Busan who missed the peace of his childhood. This sincerity of emotion made the final night of the Busan concert one of the most historic moments in BTS's career journey. The atmosphere grew even more moving as an emotional ballad began to play in the background, accompanying every tear that fell from Jimin's beautiful eyes. The stage spotlight shining directly onto his face clearly showed the depth of gratitude he felt at that moment. He repeatedly bowed deeply to various directions of the stage as a form of the highest respect to his hometown and the fans. Jimin also mentioned that there were times when he felt exhausted by the heavy pressure of the industry, but returning to Busan always managed to heal his soul. This city, with all the memories of its street corners and his old dance school, serves as a reminder of where he came from and why he started dancing. The tears that night were a release of all the heavy burdens he had been quietly carrying on his shoulders. Seeing Jimin still struggling to control his emotions, Jin tried to lighten the atmosphere with a light joke, which was met with a thin smile amidst Jimin's tears. This sweet interaction showcased how the members always know how to look after one another, even in their most fragile moments. Despite the smile, Jimin's eyes still radiated a depth of emotion that could not be easily hidden. This emotional session also became a moment of reflection for Army, who have followed Jimin's journey since his early, limitation-filled debut days. Many fans realized that the boy who used to feel insecure about his voice has now transformed into a world-renowned artist. Jimin's tears that night were a summation of all the sweat, tears, and love he had sacrificed over the past decade. When the concert finally had to come to an end, Jimin appeared to be the person most reluctant to step away from the main stage area. He walked slowly to the edge of the platform, waving his hand for a long time and staring intently at the crowd, as if wanting to record that moment forever in his memory. His tears may have dried, but the redness in his eyes remained a clear testament to the emotional storm that had just passed. For the city of Busan itself, Jimin's tears were proof of an unfading love from one of the finest sons they had ever raised. The supportive banners scattered throughout the city before the concert seemed to receive the most beautiful and honest answer that night. Jimin proved that no matter how far he flies to explore the world, his heart will always remain and be deeply rooted in the soil of Busan. In between his sobs, Jimin also took a moment to look up at the clear night sky of Busan, as if speaking to his past self. He seemed to want to whisper to the young Park Jimin that all the hard work and sleepless nights in the practice room would not be in vain. This reflective moment allowed everyone present to feel the sincerity of an idol who has never forgotten where he started. The sentimentality of the night peaked when Jimin mentioned the names of several places in Busan he used to visit as a child. Simple places that have now become silent witnesses to how a small-town boy transformed into a globally adored pop icon. These small stories flowed naturally, revealing a human side of Jimin that deeply missed his past, normal life. J-Hope, standing not far from Jimin, also appeared teary-eyed watching the depth of emotion shown by his younger group mate. He knew all too well how Jimin always gives 100% of his energy on stage, and seeing him cry like this was a sign that Jimin had poured his entire heart out. J-Hope then wrapped his arm around Jimin's shoulder, giving him a comforting, meaningful pat. Suga offered a meaningful look from the corner of the stage, a proud gaze from an older brother who has witnessed Jimin's growth since his teenage years. The silence that briefly fell between the members only emphasized that they all understood the emotional weight Jimin was carrying that night. Not many words were needed to describe how much this homecoming meant to all of them. Meanwhile, in the audience stands, banners featuring Jimin's face were waved enthusiastically by local Busan fans who felt immensely proud. They shouted as loudly as they could, trying to reassure Jimin that he had done his best, and that Busan would always be a safe home for him to return to. The roaring sound became a highly soothing remedy for Jimin's fragile heart. In the end, this concert was no longer just a showcase of the vocal and dance prowess of a top-tier global group. More than that, the final night in Busan transformed into a visual love letter written directly by Jimin to his hometown. Every drop of his tears that fell onto the stage floor became the ink that immortalized that profoundly moving moment. The presence of Jimin's extended family in the audience also served as a powerful emotional anchor for the 1995-born singer. Knowing that his loved ones were directly witnessing such incredible appreciation from the outside world in their own hometown was the highest emotional achievement for Jimin. This surpassed all the international awards he had ever received throughout his music career. Before completely concluding his speech, Jimin took a deep breath and flashed his sweetest smile toward the camera, broadcasting his face to the entire world. He promised to always remember this night as fuel for his spirit to keep moving forward in facing a future full of challenges. The smile behind the remaining tears became the most beautiful yet heartbreaking sight for anyone who witnessed it. The concert that night closed with fireworks launching beautifully across the Busan night sky, leaving behind a deep sense of emotion. However, for everyone in attendance, the best moment was not the glittering fireworks, but the genuine tears of Park Jimin. Those tears will always be remembered as one of the highest forms of honesty from an idol to his home and the people who love him.